Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to UA Overtime. Welcome back to our esteemed fans. We love you. Happy New Year. And we're here to talk about some football. I think the Super Bowl's on Sunday,
Something
guys.
like that.
Something like that. We're going to start with a little Richard Sherman talk today. Teddy, what you got? Teddy, tell us.
Honestly, John,
what's your thoughts on Richard Sherman?
Listen, Richard Sherman, got a lot of negative press for what he said. But in my opinion, I think it was just for the love of the game and the passion and the spirit just got to him quick, He was very passionate, very into the win. Obviously, it's the NFC Championship. You're going to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of emotions involved with that. And, he locked down Crabtree, made that awesome play at the end of the game, tipped the ball, sealed the deal for the Seahawks, and he was honestly hyped about it. And just, I guess his competitive nature came out in that interview with Aaron Andrews. But the only reason why he gets, negative press or, he's getting kind of like a bad light shine on him is because, a lot of the NFL's a huge industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, and a lot of kids and a lot of, youth watch these games. And that right there, as a professional football player, you have to be, respectful when you're on national television because there's a lot of younger kids watching it. And some of those kids and maybe mothers got intimidated by that and were like, whoa, a little taken back, because usually when people get reported, people take interviews at the end of the game, it's very, calm, they're kind of like just exchanging Q&As or whatever, but Richard Sherman just hyped, and you know what? Hey, what are you going to do? You're playing football, you're tackling kids.
Meg, was he over the line?
No, absolutely not. I loved it. Everyone was saying, that was way too much, or, some people really went out and said, oh, well, he's a thug, he's from Compton. He got negative press for just being passionate and competitive, and I don't think that it should be negative, and a lot of people made it negative. I know that if I was interviewing him and if I was Aaron Andrews at that position,
I would
have been just as scared. But overall, I think that people were just surprised that it was more off the field and they got a taste of what's on the field. But all in all, I think it was great.
Johnny, what do we got?
I'm with you, Meg. I couldn't get enough of it, to be honest. We complain all the time about athletes during their interviews giving you absolutely nothing. As a reporter and as a TV analyst, they give you nothing. They give you the same scripted BS. And it's like you said, it's just a Q&A, and it's just whatever you want to hear.
Man.
And you hear the same thing all the time. So now this one time we get Richard Sherman, and he's between the football lines. So and he just won the biggest game of his career to this point. So you have to know what you're getting. And he gives you I'm thinking the best interview I've seen in recent memory.
I think he scared Aaron Andrews quite a bit there, yeah.
He probably did. But again, if I'm Aaron Andrews and I'm stepping in between the white lines, and he even said it himself. He goes, he said something along the lines of, you can't judge me who I am on the football field because, and then I'm misquoting him, but it was something along the lines of, because as a football player, you need that kind of mentality, that rough.
Yeah.
And we also, there wasn't enough mention of how classy he was to Navarro Bowman, who got hurt during the game. He was upset with the Seahawks fans that were throwing popcorn at him as he left the field when he left with the serious injury. I think Richard Sherman is a classy football player. He was in the heat of the moment. My problem was I think Michael Crabtree's a good receiver. I don't like the way he trash-talked him in public like that. I'm not a huge fan of that type of thing. Does anyone think his criticism of Michael Crabtree was fair? That's my one criticism.
I'm with you on that. And he actually spoke to that a little bit recently, a few days ago. He's been writing some columns on Monday Morning Quarterback, a blog or website. Mm-hmm. And he said that a fan on Twitter tweeted him saying, again, I'm going to misquote him, I don't remember the exact words, but no one has ever gotten stronger or been lifted up by putting someone else down, or something along those lines. Right. But he recognized, he didn't apologize, but he admitted that if he had another chance, maybe that wouldn't have been the route to go.
I also just think that it was in the heat of the moment, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And afterwards, he did go to the press and calm everything down, and it was polite and respectful that he did that.
Another point,
at the end of the day, the NFL is a business. They're there to entertain the public. What Richard Sherman did just brought a little something different to the table, Like, we love that kind of stuff. Crabtree mushed his face in the middle of the game. He didn't really do nothing.
There is a long-standing beef there.
If you look at the interview, if you listen to what Richard Sherman is saying, he doesn't curse one time. He doesn't.
You're right.
He really doesn't say anything that crazy that could be like, wow, like Richard Sherman, you're fine for this, blah 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 blah. He spoke his words. He's very passionate. He without any cussing, and He was in the moment.
Gives us something to talk about.
Exactly.
Right. Real
We're
quick.
talking about it right now.
Real quick, is he the best corner in the game, Teddy? Better
Yes.
than Revis?
Hands
Yes.
down. Hands down.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would have to
Yeah.
say.
I
Hands
don't
down, he's
even
the
know
best
if
corner in
Revis
the
is in the
league.
conversation at this point.
No.
I think he. Well, they
You got
played
Patrick Peterson and Joe
in a
Hayden.
little different schemes too.
True.
Like
Peterson and Sherman.
Joe Hayden too.
Hayden's in there.
But-
And so is Revis, of course.
But
So-
all right, wrapped
You
up.
have to put it
Sherman's the best corner in the NFL. We can agree on that.
I think
All right,
so.
it's going to be an interesting matchup with him and Peyton this week. That's it for the first quarter. We'll see you back in the second quarter.
LOB.
They told me it couldn't be done, that I was a lost cause. I was picked on and picked last. Coaches didn't know how to talk to me. They gave up on me. Told me I should just quit.
Don't move until I move. Don't move until I move.
And the last pick is
They didn't call my name. Told me it was over. But I've been deaf since I was 3. So I didn't listen. And now I'm here with a lot of fans in the NFL cheering me on. And I can hear them all.
Welcome back here to the second quarter of UA Overtime. We're going to put our meteorologist hat on and we're going to talk about how the weather is going to affect the game. John, what do you got with the 5-day forecast for us?
Well, according to weather.com, we have during the day, it's going to be 34, and they're saying rain, a little bit of snow showers. Once the night rolls in, it's going to drop down to the low is 18.
Oh.
But the main thing is that the winds are only going to be around 9 miles an hour,
Okay.
which for the heart of the New Jersey winter,
Okay.
it could be a lot worse.
Now, how do we think this is going to affect Peyton Manning? You got any? Do you think is Peyton Manning?
My
gonna show up,
meteorology
or is-
studies aren't that
Right.
in depth,
Right.
but
Okay.
we do have Peyton Manning's record in cold weather games, which since he moved on to Denver, it's kind of been a little bit.
Right.
I mean, it's not really that much of a topic anymore. So
What do you got? Is it going to affect him
I
in the
don't
Super
know.
Bowl?
I heard that they're doing this like a practice where they'll dip the football in ice cold water and throw it, practice throwing and catching for about 15 minutes. So they are preparing for whatever is coming at them that day, whether it's going to be sleet, snow, the wind, or just cold temperatures. So I think in all of this, like, whatever happens, I almost don't think the weather is going to be too much of a factor because they're not calling for a nor'easter to hit New Jersey.
exactly.
So
Those conditions, I think, would help the Seahawks. I think if it played. What do you got? What do you got?
Hey, Megan, that ball in the water, in ice cold water, might be a pretty effective strategy. I'm not going to lie.
Should try that in the game.
Well, listen, honestly, like, this is the biggest football game that most of these players are ever going to play in their entire lives.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the Super Bowl. So they're doing everything they can to prepare, every little detail, whatever they need to do. They need to simulate maybe some rain in their face. I don't know. Whatever they're doing. But
We'll get
I
on
think Seattle has the edge because in Seattle, it's always, a little
Raining,
cold. It's
yeah.
raining. They're always playing in terrible conditions. So they adapt to that stuff. Denver's obviously
Denver's not exactly Southern California.
No, of course. No, that's not all I'm saying at all. Denver, Denver's cold too, but I think Seattle is a little worse.
Yeah.
And Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning, but you never know with rocky weather conditions like that.
Peyton, Eli's giving him some advice about the wind in East Rutherford. I don't know how much Eli's advice is really going to
No,
help.
that's
I don't know if
it
Eli
might,
really
it might
knows.
though.
I mean,
It might though.
I-
It's
you
just
know.
that's what a better resource to have than your brother who plays in that exact same stadium
Right.
year after
You know
year.
what's kind of funny is a side thing. Peyton is playing the Super Bowl in Eli's stadium, real quick, and Eli won his last Super Bowl in Peyton's stadium.
I think this is kind of cool.
I feel like
I
there's
think that's-
always some sort of
a little-
meaning in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
They always find
There's always
something with the
something if you
Manning
dig deep
family.
enough.
there's always something. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know anything else we can add on the weather topic
To be honest
side
with
of
you,
this.
I don't
mean,
think it's going to be that big a deal. I don't think they'll ever do it again.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
it's nice that they're trying it.
I'm not a fan of the cold weather Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is a spectacle. You put it in South Beach.
Yeah,
keep
but
the
I
weather.
also
I don't
think
want
that
weather to ever be a factor in the Super
every
Bowl.
city
I don't want
deserves
weather-
to have
I think I'm with
that in their
That's what I
in their
think, too.
hometown. You know, like this is America, people. America loves football. Why we
It's
only
America.
keep it to the East Coast or keep it to the West Coast? You know, like
Well, just warm weather all over the country.
I
Just-
think
that's what I
however
think.
it goes Sunday, they're going to determine if they do it again or not.
Yeah, if it's
Exactly.
really
If they
bad,
have to
weather-
clean out
yeah.
the stadium, clean out all the seats, and have thousands upon thousands of people working, and it's a business, like we said before. If they're gonna waste that much money on it,
Yep.
if it's that bad, they won't do it again.
Why
Yeah.
can't Roger Goodell just make every city a warm
Just
weather
make
city?
it. Just put it in South Beach every
You
year.
could throw in
Just
a
put it in
fine.
South
You
Beach
could
every
fine
year. We
Mother
won't have to
Nature.
have this discussion.
Finds everybody
That's
else.
it for the second quarter. We back with the third, talking some more Super Bowl. Welcome back. We're back here in the third quarter. We got a pretty interesting quarterback matchup to discuss. Russell Wilson, the young gun, versus Peyton Manning. What do you got, Meg?
Speaking of the young gun, he actually went to Peyton Manning's, quarterback camp back in the day, but I think that he's learned a lot from Peyton Manning, and we're going to see how the experience plays out. Wilson only 2 years. Peyton has 6 years. So I don't know. I almost think that it could be a draw, like just because one, the weather. I think that even though we just talked about it, I think it could have a small effect on Manning, and Russell Wilson is used to that. But all in all, I think it's going to be a pretty close matchup. But I think that Russell Wilson can do more on his feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely, I agree with you, Megan. But I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Peyton Manning is the best quarterback in the league, clearly, and he's arguably the best quarterback of all time. However, Wilson does have that advantage with the weather, and also he's more of a running quarterback. He can get out of the pocket, sprint away. If you see some of his highlights, he is running at full speed past these DNs and stuff like that. And these DNs are fast, and he's getting away from them. He's evading the pressure, getting the ball away, or completing a pass for a gain. And Peyton Manning doesn't run that much, but he gets the ball out of his hand quick. So I gotta say, Peyton Manning is going to be better in this game. That's how I feel.
A little more on that. I saw a number, and I think it said that Russell Wilson was the league leader in scrambles this year. It was in the 40s, his number of scrambles. And Peyton Manning has scrambled, I think it was 4 times in the last 5 years or something ridiculous
Usually
like that.
he would just flop almost.
Exactly.
He's like,
pretty
okay,
much.
you got me. I'm
That's it.
falling
Let's
back.
try again next time.
I think it's a funny, old school, new school battle we have in this game.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
Russell Wilson
Definitely.
represents the new school of quarterbacks. If you look at it, if Russell Wilson wasn't so successful, Colin Kaepernick wasn't so successful, these type of quarterbacks haven't had this. I don't think Johnny Manziel would be talked about in the top 5 picks that he's being projected. So I think this is kind of whoever wins this game can kind of, I don't know if it's going to necessarily shape the draft, but if you look at it, Russell Wilson represents this new breed of quarterback.
And you gotta remember, he wasn't-
drop back old school, and it's a really funny dynamic that I think it's not. I think Russell Wilson could be the next generation quarterback in the sense that he can be this 21st century new, the best quarterback of his generation, but in a different sense than Peyton Manning.
And
He'll never have those
you
passing
also
yards,
got to
you know what
remember,
I'm
in
saying?
comparing him to Manziel, Russell Wilson wasn't looked at as a top
No,
quarterback
no,
in the
you're
draft. He was
right.
drafted in the later rounds.
Great, third round choice. Yeah.
And also with this, it's going to come down to weapons.
Right.
Peyton Manning has one of the best receiving cores I've ever seen.
Right.
And Seattle, they're getting Percy Harvin back for the Super Bowl, which is going to be huge.
Yeah, but he gets
He-
hit once and he's out.
He
you
also
know? I mean,
he hasn't played. He's
Yeah.
played 1 or 2 games all year long. So that's I don't know how the integration is going to work. I'm guessing fine because he's had a lot of practice time.
Right.
But it's just the amount of talent in that Denver receiving corps. If there's anything that's going to make a difference, it's that. I feel like the quarterback, it's going to even out.
You still have to say right now, you got to trust Peyton Manning. He's a known commodity.
You can't bet against him.
This is
Yeah,
third
you really
Super
can't.
Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, he's been the man in the league for over a decade now. So this matchup, you give Peyton Manning the edge, but I'm not going to count Russell Wilson out by any stretch.
You
I think-
cannot count him out.
The
Like,
guy's
no way.
37 years old. He had the best season of his career.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He broke 2 of the biggest records, in football.
But one question, is it going to be a huge letdown if he doesn't win the Super Bowl coming off
Oh,
this?
that's a great
Absolutely.
question. I think this
That
can
is a good
really
question.
kill his legacy if he's 1-2 in Super Bowls. This could, and especially if he loses to a second-year quarterback.
Well, you also got to keep in mind
Last time he lost to Drew Brees.
he's not playing Russell Wilson. He's playing the best
that's
defense
true.
in the league.
But the media will be Peyton Manning lost to a second-year quarterback.
Well, that's-
Yes,
that's-
if there's a
that's not
headline,
good.
if there's going to be a
2-0 in
headline,
Super Bowl,
and if the
you know,
Broncos lose, it's going to be Manning loses.
It'll always be exactly, and that's I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue here.
Well, it's a shame
I just
that
want
it'll
to
be
throw
that way.
one
It'll
more thing
completely
out there.
career. Yeah.
I want to throw one more thing out there. I think that Manning will have a pick in the game.
Manning probably will throw an interception. A real intriguing matchup for lots of ways, and the quarterback is definitely one of them. It's going to be a great game. I think this is going to be a great Super Bowl. I'm really excited. That'll wrap it up for the third quarter. We'll see you back for the fourth quarter. All right, welcome back to the fourth quarter. We're making our predictions, and I'm going to start with Teddy. Who are you
I feel honored.
picking? Who's going to win, Teddy?
You know what?
And the score.
I
Who's going
got
to win?
thi-
And what's the score?
Okay, I got you right now. All right.
A lot of pressure
I
right now.
think,
MVP
yeah, right.
too.
Stop being
Give me
the
your
pressure.
MVP. Who's the
I
MVP?
think. Okay, first of all, I think that with this matchup, the best defense in the whole league and the best offense in the entire league, it couldn't get any better than that. And I feel like Seattle can have the edge because they have the overall best team, but the Broncos have the best player in the league. And I feel like Peyton Manning has to absolutely be the X factor. If he's hot, they're winning. If he has a bad game, done. If Russell Wilson has a bad game, I feel like he could. The Seahawks can make up for
That's
with
a
their
great
defense
point.
and their
That's a
running
great
game.
point.
Even though Noah Moreno's a great running back, but Marshawn Lynch is a tank. He's a monster, and it all comes down to Peyton Manning. That's what I feel, and I think it's going to be 31-27 Broncos.
Who's the MVP? You going Peyton Manning?
I'm going Peyton Manning to cap off the MVP of the league, the 2 records, winning the Super Bowl, and MVP of the
the
Super Bowl.
best individual season in the history of the
Ever.
NFL.
Yes.
If he
Peyton Manning.
caps it.
I think that's a guarantee. You have to give him the MVP. But my score is going to be Seahawks 27, Broncos 23.
Nice.
I am going to argue with that you have Marshawn Lynch and you have Wilson working together, not only passing but running offense. And I think that could be such an aspect to this game and the X factor. If you want to talk about the Broncos, then definitely if Peyton Manning is hot, he's hot. This game will get closer. But overall, I think that Seattle's defense, along with Lynch and Wilson, is going to be the outcome on this one.
Who's your MVP?
And it'll have to go to Wilson.
You go to Russell Wilson. Okay.
I just think that the quarterback is the facilitator. He has to grab the MVP.
Okay. Johnny, who we got?
I'll talk myself through it because I don't really know yet.
Oh.
But when it comes to the quarterbacks, here's the argument I would make. If Russell Wilson was playing any other team in the league, Russell Wilson would only have to, in order to win, manage the team, throw a touchdown, don't throw a pick, go for 200 yards, no turnovers, and the defense would handle the rest. That's if he was playing anybody else. But that defense is playing the best offense the league has seen since the Tom Brady, Randy Moss days.
And Giants won.
And they did win. In this case, I'm not sure. My heart is still telling me to go with Seattle because
He's going with Seattle, people.
I'm going with Seattle because they say it all the time, and it usually holds true. Defense wins championships. They have the best one in the league. Peyton Manning, he's score, man. You're killing me.
I got to treat you the same. I can't give you different.
We're gonna go 24-21 Seattle.
Oof. Good pick.
24-20.
Who's your MVP?
Richard Sherman. He's gonna.
Wow.
He's gonna
way.
listen to
Wow.
this. Listen to me. He's gonna pick off Peyton Manning, trying to go for a game-winning drive in the end of the fourth quarter.
John.
You heard it here first.
John, great minds think alike. I got the Seahawks 24-21. I think this is the defense that can slow. I think when you're hot like the Broncos, this week off is really going to kill them. But you give a great defense like that 2 weeks to prepare, they're going to figure out a weakness. Richard Sherman's going to take whichever receiver that is out of the game. He's going to choose one, whether it's Demarius, Decker, Julius Thomas, doesn't matter. He's going to pick one of those, and he's going to be shut out the whole game.
Well, the thing with Sherman is he's I think they ran the numbers. He's on the right side of the field 95% of the
Right.
time. So it's whoever's on the right side, which I don't
right.
know.
So he's going to take one of those guys completely out the game.
Yeah.
And that's going to throw Peyton Manning out of his equilibrium. And you brought up a great point that if the game is low scoring, like Russell Wilson can win the game. He doesn't need to, if it's like Russell Wilson can win and not play that great. For the Broncos to win, Peyton Manning needs to play a great game. Yes. And that's where and you brought that up. I think that's a great point. And I think you're going to get a game like you said. Russell Wilson might throw one touchdown. He's not going to throw any interceptions. He's going to make some nice plays with his feet. And I think the MVP of the game is Marshawn Lynch. Okay. He's going to run. He's going to be the X factor in the game.
Is he going to have?
He's going to control the clock.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
question.
I don't know who wants to talk to him.
Steve, I got to disagree with one of your points. First of all, Richard Sherman's only D'ing up one receiver. He's only taking one receiver out of the game.
But that's
the guy behind center though is Peyton Manning, and he's gonna analyze these plays. These plays are going through his head while right before he's about to say hike. So he's gonna pick apart Seattle's defense, find who's ever open. You got Wes Welker in the slot.
Hold on. You think he's gonna pick apart that secondary?
He's not gonna pick apart that secondary.
Listen. Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman are fantastic. They're great, but I've been saying it over and over again. I don't want to sound like a broken record. It's Peyton Manning. Like
I hear you.
He's going to be studying for this game. He's going to be prepared.
But they're all going to be that prepared.
But Peyton Manning has a Super Bowl under his belt, and Russell Wilson's a second-year quarterback with a young team coming into this. You know, they're a little nervous. You know,
I just think that the 2 weeks is going to help the Seahawks more than it's going to help the Broncos. You're going to have 2 weeks. It always benefits the defense when you're going up against a great offense because you have 2 more weeks to prepare. And I know that Peyton Manning has those same 2 weeks, but it seems to always lean towards that better defense. It always has.
I'm still taking Seattle, but I'm going to disagree with you a little bit in the sense that with the Broncos, there are, say if you're Seattle trying to hone in on what Denver is going to do, there's so many different options for Peyton Manning to go to on offense. There's so many different receivers.
But look at those 07 Patriots. The Giants had in 2 weeks, they didn't run any of that NASCAR stuff all year. They cooked that up before the Super Bowl. That was the best offense I'd ever seen in my life to that point. Yeah. And the Giants, with the 2 weeks, were able to figure something out. I think the Seahawks' defense is way more talented than that. And they can come up with something that's going to stop. That's just my opinion.
I think that, like you said before, John, that the defense wins championships. And I just think that
I hate speaking in cliches, but I mean,
I know, me too, but I really think it's true because when you go to practice, like, you know, back to when anyone played younger sports or sports at all, like, when you go to practice, what do you practice the most? Defense.
Yeah.
You run through offense, but you really get, you know, down to the dirt with defense.
Yep. So it looks like the consensus here is that the Seahawks are going to win pretty close.
I think the Broncos.
Teddy stands alone. We got the Broncos.
I'm the lone Bronco.
That'll do it for the fourth quarter. We'll see you in overtime.
Let's go, Adrian. Adrian, let's go. Get out there in the field. Let's go. Hey, helmet, let's go.
34 pinch, cover 2. Don't mess this up again, Adrian. Ready? Break. Set. Right.
Cuts right, left. He's flying. He cuts back. Player of the 80s. Yeah, coming through. We're meant to be. That's how we do it. Let go. Yeah.
Hey, kid. Here.
All right, welcome back. We're here in overtime Unfortunately, a great football season has ended. We're going to get a little
Hey, it hasn't
nostalgic
ended
here.
yet. We got
It's
a little bit-
about
a little
to
bit
end.
left.
This is our last show for the football season, and we have. You know what? You ruined me, but thank you. We're getting a little nostalgic here, and fine. Seeing you're so eager.
I just don't want it to end.
What is your favorite moment from the season,
Just don't want
John?
it to end. And because I don't want it to end, I'm going to bring it back to where it all started. Week 1, my favorite memory of the season is when Peyton Manning really just let everyone know that they weren't messing around this year. 7 touchdowns on opening night. The game was never even close. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the game was delayed to begin. The season was delayed, in a sense, by about 45 minutes to an hour because of weather, thunder, lightning. Was that? Am I thinking of the right game? Or am I wrong? Yeah. That's of all the games this season, that's what stick out to me. Just Peyton Manning slinging it around the field for 7 touchdowns to start the season.
Fair enough. That's a good way to start. But I'm gonna go with Kansas City. How they beat out the Redskins 45-10, and McCluster 72-yard punt return, crazy weaves in and out all over the field, and I think he made it like 21-0 at that point. But that play just really stuck out to me.
Wow, off the grid there, Teddy.
I'm gonna have to go with something a little more recent. The Patriots catching that L in the championship game versus the Broncos. I was having a field day with that one. I hate the Patriots. I love the Jets. They lost. Belichick can go home and cry and whatever. And Brady's out, and it's a good day. You know, it's a good day for everybody.
It was a good day.
It was a good day.
All right. Well, for me, I'm a Giants fan, so this year kind of wasn't so great. But my favorite moment of the year had to be that Sunday night game when Peyton returned to Indianapolis. I mean, when Peyton returned to Indy, and I don't know, I just thought that was a great matchup. To me, from there, I had the Colts as my team to win the AFC. Unfortunately, Reggie Wayne got hurt, but I think the Colts. I'm a big fan of the Colts going forward. I think Andrew Luck is a great young quarterback, and I think that was just, to me, that was his. We all knew he was great, but I think he's the future of the NFL.
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Yeah, all right, that'll do it for overtime. We got our final thoughts. Real quick, it's the Super Bowl week. As we realize another Manning is in the Super Bowl, I will still take Eli in a big game any day.
Bold.
Over Peyton Manning. Any day I will take Eli in a big game any day. That is my final thought. John, what you got?
Steve, that's tough, bro.
That is pretty tough.
I don't know. I'm kind of taking my breath, kind of taken away from that.
Yeah,
it's the truth.
You got me rattled.
Look at the records.
I'm feeling it right now.
Look at the records, dog. Numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah. Anyway, my final thought's going to take it a little bit away from where we've been and bring it over to the NBA, where I believe Kevin Durant will win his first MVP award after the season is over. He's scored 30 points or more in 12 straight games. He just put LeBron and his team to shame in their own house. There's nothing you can take away from Kevin Durant this season, not even the MVP award.
Wow.
I like that. No,
See, now that got me excited now because.
Wow.
We have next week.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to jump off your NBA a little bit. Back last semester, I told the guys here that Lala was going to make the media aware of what Melo was going to do next year, and word's out that he wants to stay in New York. So
good.
I just want to put that out there because women, we know best.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. But another thought, I have a few because this is my last show for the semester. I'll be going to Australia. But anyways, Syracuse, Duke, this Saturday, going to be crazy. 35,000 are expected to be in the Carrier Dome. I'm glad I'm not in Syracuse a little bit just because of how crazy and hectic the hill's going to be. But I can't wait to watch that game.
You're glad you're not there?
Yeah, I'm upset. What are you glad about?
The shock value of
The
these
tickets are
two.
crazy. The ticket prices are through the roof.
Okay.
But,
Kind of
if, you got to save my money. I'm going to Australia, all right?
All right.
She's going to Australia, people.
Going down under.
All right, one more thought.
Okay.
Albany, Big Purple Growl
Getting your
this
money's
weekend.
Yeah. 3-for-1 special here. All right.
Albany this weekend's playing Vermont, the women and the men, and you can listen to it on WCDB 90.9 FM.
All righty. Teddy.
Albany's the greatest broadcaster tomorrow. My final thought, those are some great points, actually, guys. Like, you guys got me pretty excited. You know, Kevin Durant, the Duke and Syracuse, like, that is definitely some good things to look forward to. My final thought is the NFL draft. Who's going number 1? Manziel, Bridgewater. I'm very, very excited to see how that pans out. So something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And there you have it, folks, for another episode of UA Overtime. Thanks for watching.
You excited about the game?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
See, these are real emotions, man.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. It's on your back. They feel like if they can stop you, they can stop this team.
Well, they're going to have to stop all of us. You feel me?
I feel you.
I'm a piece to it, but we got some dogs.
You don't like podiums, do you?
It ain't my thing.
What is your thing?
Laid back, kick back,
Yeah.
mind my business, stay in my own lane,
Yeah. So you just gonna sit in the cut and just chill. That's what you do it.
just kick back. Game time, though, I'll be there.
What you like about this week?
What I like about this week, this whole experience, you know, being able to have this opportunity.
Has anything surprised you?
Yeah, being here is big.
It's huge.
It is.
It's what you dreamt of.
It is. And it's right here in front of me, too.
You brought the whole family?
They on the way.
They on the way?
Yeah. Town business going to be in the building.
Marshall Falk loves you, man.
That's huge. That's huge. That's a great, too.
He respects you and he loves you. He loves you, man. We all love you, man. We love these moments.
That's big time.